I would always think that was in the zoom mode because of the thing being out. It's zooming out.
No, well, that's the. What am I doing here? I'm screwing up.
We're
here.
bumping into
Oh,
each
okay.
other.
Well, we don't need bump. Okay, so now the situation here is, guys, is that that he swinging around. Let's not swing around here. Is that Paul got home and we were talking about folks in a, well, doesn't that necessarily be in a hotel setting. It's generally if you're driving around in a driving around setting have.
You see a minivan cab full of people. No one is looking up. No one is having a conversation with the co-passengers. They're all looking down and playing with their phones and texting about and everything. They're having no kind of conversation. It's like they're all total strangers, even though they're in the same party. They've arrived together, they were leaving together, they're going back to the airport together to go back to the same town and everything.
Well, you know, and yes, actually, now that Paul's described that reminds me of what prompted me to say this or start this is that I watched a video where there were a bunch of people that, you know, apparently had known each other for quite some time, and they got together and traveled off to a restaurant and they were all videoing each other because they're all YouTubers and stuff, and they're all looking down at their feet, or well, maybe they're looking down at something else, but they're looking down at their feet, and I thought, well, good grief, guys, you know, this isn't the way to interact. Said he, sitting here with Paul, interacting on YouTube. Well, at least we're doing it together.
They were being safe and taking taxi.
Well, they were being safe. Well, they were being safe. Usually these guys just drink. Well, I mean, I like to drink a lot, but these guys drink liquor. I don't drink liquor.
But anyway, as soon as they all got in the minivan, they all turned their things on, and all of the people that were at having the same dinner, they were all starting to play with their phones. And
minivan. That says it all, doesn't it? A minivan. One of the best ads ever made in the last 20 years was this thing about, there was some vehicle called the Montana or something, and these guys says maybe it's not a minivan. Well, it was very obviously a minivan, but you know, the line should have been, hopefully it won't ever be a minivan again. Plus, there's a mentality. I mean, you know, when you come up behind one of these rounded shell things with the dark windows, you know that this suburban housewife whose husband makes, you know, $130,000 a year, you know, and she's got her 3 or 4 kids in there. She is not looking at you in her rearview mirror. She's not looking at you, and first of all, she may not be looking at her kids in the back seat. You know.
Not even the mirrors on the outside.
No. I mean, if you think her sphere of interest extends more than 8 millimeters past the side of those mirrors, you know, none of which have been looked into, neither of which have been looked into, you know, you are sadly mistaken.
Well, I get a kick at, I laugh at the ones you pull up behind, and the kids are watching movie videos on the back of the headrest of all the seats in the van. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Oh, this is just so sad. It's just so sad. I mean, you know,
I mean, to watch a stupid cartoon.
One of the great things about road trips when we were growing up was that, one, would my dad's prune pits fly back through the window and hit me in the face. I mean, you were hoping it wouldn't hit you in the face, but you knew that's what he was going to do because he made everybody eat prunes because he thought everybody was going to get constipated. Well, he didn't make my mother eat prunes. I didn't see him eating any prunes. He made my sister and I eat prunes, and I guess he wanted everybody to have a crap. And he certainly wanted to spit. Well, he must have been eating some prunes because he spit these things out. And if we had our windows rolled down, which you had to have the windows rolled down because it was summer and it was hot. And there's no air conditioning. And plus, it's just fun to have the windows rolled down. Plus, I mean that distracted from having to fight with my sister. And even though we were 8 years apart, and we got to a point where we weren't really fighting. There was still a certain amount of conflict. Now, that was still when it was kind of like a 2-day journey up there from Lebanon, Ohio, to the northern peninsula, the upper peninsula, and you had to stop and park. And of course, if you're driving a 1950 Packard, the back seat, we had a bed in the back. We had a back seat, which is a bed. We had a bed on the floor, so we all slept in the back seat of this car. It was magnificent. Look here, Detroit. Look here. Bring these cars back, and no, don't make them electric. Don't make them hybrid. Make them with big, powerful diesel engines that are all turbo injected and computer injected, so that.
And the things are like trucks.
Well, yes, do that. Big.
Only with a car.
Big sedans, or I guess the British call them saloon cars. Big.
Oh, it's almost like driving around a Suburban.
Oh, it's like a living room. Because I've been in a Suburban, you can't get your legs stretched out. Living room on wheels. We need living rooms on wheels like we used to have. I remember.
Yeah, we had a couple great ones.
Well, yeah, you had these great Chevys. I remember this guy and I were in band, and his dad was going to take us over to this. There was this band competition over at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, every year. And now, Mr. Gallagher was a bit of an earthy fella. He found Butch jacking off one day in the closet, and so when he found Butch jacking off in the closet, he pulled him out and he beat the crap out of him. He says, "I'm not beating the crap out of you because you're jacking off." He says, "I'm beating the crap out of you because I found you." Now this
that
man
makes no sense.
Well, yes, it does, because this man went on to be, like the sergeant major of one of the major divisions in the U.S. Army. Before he retired, he was Special Forces. So yeah, I mean, So anyway, Mr. Gallagher also let me shoot one of my first 35 revolvers at a 5-gallon can at the back of his lot. So I mean. He was a bit of a crude soul, but he was a good soul, as so many people are, by the way. And put that in your left-wing paper pipes and smoke it here, guys that might look into that. Although I dare say I don't have many viewers who are like that, but maybe they need to get a wider view.
My dad had a gun range set up in the basement.
Well, yeah, no, I mean for 20
stacked
for
up
20
railroad ties.
Well, no, for 22s it was quite safe. Now Mr. Gallagher had, this was all 38 special and 357 stuff, so you couldn't do that in the basement. But I was making a point here, Paul. Do you have any idea what I was driving at?
I know Mr. Gallagher let you shoot your
Oh no, I was thinking about.
in a giant car.
Well, I was thinking about jacking off and being caught and.
Getting beat up, and then the guy.
Well, I'll have to come back and revisit that, guys. I'm sorry. There was a thought there, but I became beguiled
But
by.
Gallagher did well. He did great in the military.
I became beguiled by the image of Butch in his closet jacking off. I don't know if I'm going to put this on the internet or not, but I bet you I do.
Oh,
we're all guys here together, aren't we? Go on, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
we were talking about the people playing with the machines in the Minivan and not having anything to do with the co-passengers, even though they're all friends.
Well, that's true. No, oh, right. Well, that's how it started out. I mean, these guys are all, they come in, they go out to a restaurant, and then it's like it'd be like if I did this video by doing this, like, you top of my head. Well, top of my head's thinning out, obviously. But, so.
Well, and the funny thing, the guests at the end, they also do this. They're friends and everything. They're like here in town for a meeting and that. And they're standing there and they're punching away and playing away on their phones, their smartphones and stuff. Plus they're carrying on a conversation. And they'll be headed for the first floor. I will have rung for the elevator and I'll stop it midway down. Well, they'll all run out of the elevator thinking they're on the first floor to get to the front desk to check out to go. I have to call them back and tell them, you're not there yet. You've got 3 more stops to go. I was like, oh, really? I said, yes.
Excuse me.
You need to look for the slate tile floor. Make sure they match before you jump off the elevator if you're trying to get to the breakfast room
particularly
or the lobby.
Well, particularly if they're looking down at the floor. Yes, I mean that's the thing is if they're looking down at the floor, then that's the right advice to give them, isn't it? I mean,
but they're not paying attention to the floor. I mean,
well, no, they're looking at their. Well, it's all
right. They're looking at their thing.
Well, we're all very narcissistic. I admit I'm very bad about that. So, I confess. Now, I'm going to hang up here now, and we're going to say, I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTubers, unless Paul has got.
Good night, guys.
Paul's got something else to say.
Just good night.
There we go.